Hey guys, so we're going to do video number 2, and my husband is with me today, and my dog, and, well, both dogs. Come on, Molly. And we're going to do a little Game of Thrones review and makeup. So we're going to talk about episode 2 of the newest season of Game of Thrones, and I'm going to do a makeup look to go with it. So here we go.
Well, the title is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I need to take my pill.
With that note, we'll be right back. Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to get started. I'm actually going to take off some of this face makeup first to get started. So, what's the title of the episode?
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So, what do you think that means for the episode from what we've seen?
Well, from a base standpoint, it's Brienne.
Because they knight her in the episode?
She gets knighted.
Spoilers, by the way.
She's legitimately a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms because of Jaime. On a personal level, I feel it's more about Jaime than anything. Because he's one that never really took his vows seriously.
Why do you say he never took his vows seriously?
He broke all the vows. He was a dishonorable person. He was never really respected by anyone because of stabbing Aerys Targaryen in the back.
And that's his main breaking of vow, right? Would you consider that the turning point for him was when he stabbed his king as part of a king's guard? That's where he took his downhill? Or do you think he's always kind of just been that way?
I think that's part of being a Lannister.
That you just don't take anything seriously?
Yeah.
Or, well, maybe not seriously, but like you don't take your vows seriously. You always pay your debts. But money is worth more than your word.
I think being a Lannister just gives you this sense of, not necessarily ownership of, just this hierarchy that they believe themselves to be in. That they're much better off, which they are, than everyone else. So, in Jaime's point, being a knight and then ultimately becoming the Kingslayer, no one took him for who he was anymore. He was just that.
The Kingslayer.
The Kingslayer. That and a sister, lover. So, and as much as that being rumors, everyone knew about it.
Right.
So, that's where that would come into play.
Fair enough. Okay.
But that's because Jaime Lannister's one of my favorite characters, and has grown to become my favorite main character. All my favorite characters are kind of side characters.
Fair enough. I mean, Jaime probably has had one of the most dramatic arcs throughout the whole series.
It's the best arc, personally.
Fair enough.
Unless if you're a Sansa person, which I am now, but...
Yeah, we had to get past her whiny childishness to get to where she is today.
And really, I mean, that was, Ned's death. From that screaming wail she had in episode 9 of season 1, from the scream, that's where she turned into a real character. She wasn't just threading needles and trying to be a princess.
Or playing with dolls anymore.
Yeah. She realized who these people were in King's Landing, and then all hell broke loose for her beyond just losing her dad.
I mean, she lost her dad. She didn't know what happened to her sister when she found out. I mean, there's that scene where you see Tyrion walk in after he hears that Robb Stark's dead, and she just turns and her face is red, and it's wet because she's been crying. And we just see that emotional torment. And when we see her see Arya again, and they're up on that balcony ledge in Winterfell, and she makes the comment, "You could have never survived what I've been through." Seeing how Arya shows so little emotion after she becomes a girl who has no name. I mean...
And now a girl who has no virginity.
I think that's accurate. I don't think Sansa could survive what Arya went through, and I don't think Arya could survive what Sansa went through. They're two different people. They're two different people, and they're strong in two completely different ways.
And that's something that the show has done beautifully, especially with female characters.
Right. They're showing that there's different strengths in different aspects of the lives that they've lived.
Brienne being the most, honorable character on the show, which this title of the show, title of the episode is about her, essentially.
Right.
And then Sansa being the most politically savvy other than Cersei Lannister. Arya being this tomboy character who is totally okay with being that and then comfortable in who she is and then, takes Gendry to bed.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
did it in her way.
I mean that line, I'm not
the red woman.
I'm not the red woman, take off your own pants. I mean, she's asserting her dominance right there, and she's asserting how she is who she is, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So, and obviously...
Work for Gendry, man.
Yeah.
But back to Jaime, the episode begins with the trial of Jaime Lannister, essentially.
Yeah. Him confronting the daughter of the man he's known for killing.
I just thought the moment in the trial was Brienne standing up for Jaime. It was a very touching, beautiful moment, and then Jaime looking upon her with such respect. And then you get it later on in the episode when they're talking and walking through all the little training grounds around Winterfell, and she turns, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, and she makes the comment like,
"You haven't insulted me once." Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jaime doesn't want to insult her. Do you think that there's
I honestly...
that he loves her but doesn't, or is it just like friendship for him?
I'm a shipper of Jaime and Brienne because I think there's so much history that they've built and they have so much mutual respect for each other and they've seen each other grow that I think it's hard not to be. But I love Tormund so much that I just want him to win for once and just get the girl that he wants.
He wins at everything, man.
This is fair. He does win at everything. But maybe not always in love, per se. But that's just my opinion.
Wildlings, I don't think, believe in polyamory or whatever the heck it is. Maybe they believe in that. What's the other one?
Monogamy?
That's it.
There we go.
I think they're
They're polyamorous?
There we go. I think that's exactly what he is. So he doesn't care.
Polyamorous. Okay. Good to know.
He just loves the big woman.
Are you a shipper of Brienne and Jaime? Or
I am in the sense that I love the two characters.
Fair enough.
I love all that they've been through. Jaime preventing a rape of Brienne.
Right.
Losing his hand for her, essentially.
Hey, quit chewing.
He's going to lose a hand over there.
Yeah, he's going to chew his own hand off.
And just Jaime giving her the armor and giving Oathkeeper. There's so much history beyond just that stuff. And
right.
it would be nice, but, he's dead.
What?
He's toast.
So, going off of that, watching the episode and we see all of these, like when we were listening to Casterly talk, they were saying that there were all of these kind of TV moments where it sets it up like they're gonna die, but it's literally every character has these moments. So who do you think's going to die? Or do you think any of them are gonna die?
I think there's potential that we could see some, massive deaths. And not in the sense of massive character deaths,
okay.
but as in the sense of, I think we're gonna get, deaths like, Oberyn Martell. Like the mountain killing him type death.
Okay.
Gruesome, skull crushing. Maybe not that, but maybe you see in Jaime's, for instance, I think he might survive, but I think he's toast. That's I'm 50-50 on. But Brienne is definitely dead.
Why are you saying she's definitely dead?
Well,
just give me your insight to this, because I think honestly between Jaime and Brienne, I think Brienne might be the one to live.
Out of the two of them?
Because I think if Jaime's gonna serve
opposite
under her in her company, I could totally see him sacrificing himself in some way.
It's gonna be the other way around.
You think it's gonna be Brienne?
The reason I say this, he gave her Oathkeeper, right?
Right.
Jaime is gonna be down on the ground, a White Walker, maybe 80 of them on top of them, and she's gonna come in and slash everything down, right?
Because it's Valyrian steel.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone comes in behind her, takes her out, and I mean brutally.
She has that moment where she makes eye contact with Jaime, and all of a sudden she's gone.
Yes, toast. Okay. And Jaime is just just defeated.
Completely.
And then takes the sword from her and defends her body, essentially.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
And maybe has to burn it. Maybe even it comes back to life and Brienne is a white.
Ooh, that would be interesting to see. How big of an impact do you think the scene where Sansa sees Theon again is?
Theon's dead.
Theon's dead. Theon's dead. Okay, so Theon's dead. Right?
Theon pledged to protect Bran because he took Winterfell from Bran.
Right.
So now he's protecting Bran at the Godswood, right?
And you think there's going to be a whole?
I think that's the end of the episode, the next episode. I think
they're going to end it.
Not with his death, but the Godswood area.
Okay. Like how we saw in the preview, we see Jon with the Godwood behind him.
Yes.
That's going to be how it ends?
Not that shot.
Right, but like that scene in general, like
yes.
them. Okay.
I think there's going to be a major fight scene going on in that moment. Whether that means Bran is alive, dead, Theon is definitely dead in that scene because he's gonna have to save Bran somehow.
Right.
And that will be your final sequence, whether the Night's King is even there or not. I'm not 100% sold on this is how the war with the White Walkers ends. Because I feel, and this is coming from a person that doesn't even like the zombie storyline that much.
Okay.
I feel that would be such a giant letdown if this all got wrapped up in 3 episodes. This whole storyline that started within 5 minutes of the pilot.
Yeah.
We saw a couple of characters from the Night's Watch come out of the gates, start walking, and then they get killed by a White Walker. And then you see body parts all put in that little spiral thing that we've been seeing for 8 years.
I read an article about a theory.
Bet you it's wrong.
It probably is, but I was reading articles and it talks about all those symbols in that spiral. Mm-hmm. There's a theory that it's because it's similar to how the Targaryen sigil is.
Ugh.
No. No, okay, I'm wrong.
We already know that the Night's King is not a Targaryen. We know he's a first man. The children of the forest created him out of the first men.
Right.
And he's probably a Stark, because the Starks were of the first men.
Okay.
That would be just my guess. That's who it is.
Okay.
He's not a Targaryen. There's nothing Targaryen about this. Bunch of these idiots out there that want to put anything in it. I think it was David Nutter, the director of the episode, talked about how the spiral is just the Night's King taunting.
Okay, but how is it taunting?
Like we're here, we're fucking shit up.
Right. I mean, we see those symbols in the cave.
Yeah. It could be because that's what he recognized that symbol when he was actually a human, and that's just a memory of his.
Okay. It could be.
But that is literally, it was either the writer of the episode, I can't remember his name, or David Nutter, who said that the spiral was basically it's essentially a taunting.
Okay.
Like, we're here, we're ready for you. You don't know when we're coming. You don't know how many of us there are. You're all toast. We're getting the Battle of Winterfell, which is the longest fight sequence not named, oh my god, Helm's Deep in Two Towers. Couldn't even, don't know why I was trying to play. And we're getting that up against Avengers Endgame, excuse me. Give me all the Game of Thrones anything. I don't know anything is going to happen.
But you can predict what's going to happen.
I can predict what's going to happen in Avengers.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing the show has definitely done really well with is they've kept us on our toes. Like, you really don't know. Mm-hmm. It's broken so many television rules, per se, and it's really changed the way we see TV, I think.
But back to the Godswood.
Okay.
I have my own theory, and it's probably wrong, because it's a theory about Game of Thrones.
Of course.
But I have this theory that there's something going on more than Bran has told anyone other than Tyrion. Because there's the moment that him and Tyrion sit down, Bran was already sitting down because, can't stand.
Because he's in a wheelchair.
And Tyrion pulls up a chair, and he asks Bran to tell him his story. And Bran, who isn't, the most articulate human being anymore. My guess tells him a lot of stuff that's going to be super important. And I think one of those things is there's a stronger connection between him and the Night King than is actually acknowledged, beyond the Harry Potter marking that he's got.
Or the theory about how Bran is the Night King.
Hate that. No, I just think there's a stronger connection between the two, and we'll find that out in the episode. Or maybe not, because I don't think we're going to have the Night King die.
Yeah, I highly doubt that he's going to die within the next episode.
It would just be... It just doesn't make any sense.
It'd be too soon, in my opinion.
And we haven't had that much of a lead-up. I mean, I'm not saying... Oh yeah, we only had 2 episodes into the season.
Right.
But like, there's been no lead up prior, because why would we have just taken the wall down last season? Why didn't we do that 2 seasons ago though?
Yeah, if we were just gonna kill him off right away. And I think we'll see him obviously because he'll be with all the other White Walkers.
I don't think he's in the battle at all.
I think we'll see him kind of like we do when they're all trapped and Daenerys flies in with the dragons. Mm-hmm. And he's up on his horse, kind of watching everything. I feel like we might get one of those clips of him. But otherwise, he's not going to be involved. He'll just be off on the sidelines, like, alright.
I think he's going to be riding Viserion, just, like, chilling and watching what's going on. I kind of agree with that. But I don't think he's going to be fighting at all.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be in the battle. I don't think he'll be in the battle until he needs to. Like, we might suspect him coming, like, to the Godswood scene. But that, like you said, like, that's probably going to be how the episode ends. So we really don't get any of him.
How did you feel about the exposition dump by Bran that the Night King is only after him? And that's
kind of self-centered. Like, the Night King has a bigger goal than just to get you. Like, clearly he wants an endless night, and part of that, as Bran says, is like, to get rid of him, he kind of has to get what he wants. But that's kind of... It's like, it's all about me. Like, Bran's a little... This is coming from, just a girly opinion, I guess. Like, that's just like, alright, we get it. You're important. We get you're the three-eyed raven. We understand that you're a big deal here. But it's not all about you. Like, all of our lives are on the line, too. Like...
He's not Brendan Stark.
Oh, that's right. He's not Brendan Stark anymore. But the comment to Jaime, the things we do for love... You're still him. You're not just the three-eyed raven.
I think he just remembers things, and he knows the things that's certain things that have happened.
I would hope so. I mean, they're his memory. Granted, he did have that amnesia when he first woke up.
Correct.
But
I think because of him saying that, it makes sense because when he's doing all the visions and stuff, and then he gets the touch, the mark of the Night King.
Night King, yeah.
It's very clear that he's only going after Bran in that moment. Since there hasn't been really any other thing that he's doing other than taunting Jon Snow. Mm-hmm. So. Right,
yeah, the come at me bro moment that they had. And there's that whole theory about them bringing the people in the crypt back to life. And, like, that's the dumbest place to keep everyone. I mean, there's a lot that could happen in terms of raising the dead, but I really hope it doesn't come down to that.
They have that little girl that's the placeholder of Princess Shireen. She can hold down the fort.
She's so cute. I almost cried when I saw Davos and he looked at her. I just wanted to... my soul and my heart just melted. I was like, oh no.
I did have a tear.
Oh, did you?
I love Davos, and that moment is so pure, and he's the best. That, and if I had a nickel for the amount of times he says, look, or starts a sentence off, look.
Davos is definitely probably one of my favorite characters of the show, of the entire series.
He's the best.
He's such, like, he's one of the most genuine characters, and he does... everything that he feels in his heart is right. Like, he doesn't...
He stands up for what he believes.
Right. I mean, yeah, he was a pirate, whatever,
No, he was a smuggler. He definitely says that.
Smuggler, not pirate. He was a smuggler.
Pirates steal things. Smugglers take it.
Yeah. But I mean, he's just so genuine in the way he cares and the way he, like, he definitely stands up for what he believes in. Like, there's no doubt about that. You can't deny that of him.
Do you think he sits in the crypts, or he's gonna be like?
I think he'll
leading some like archers and stuff going on.
I think he might lead like an archer brigade or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that might be one of his key roles that he has. I don't really see him.
I'd be pissed if he's in the crypts.
Yeah, I don't really see him as being in the crypt. I hope he's not in the crypt.
My favorite moment of the episode, not to circle back all the way back to Jamie.
Back to Jamie.
Is the last day before retiring moment, all of them around the fire.
That is really a great scene.
Tormund, Davos, Tyrion, Brienne, Pod. Is that everyone? Sounds like everyone. Yeah. And then Jamie.
Well, obviously, because we were talking about him in the situation. Yeah.
That whole scene, I could have had 2 more hours of that scene and never got bored.
Just like... Also, can we address how David is the name of the guy who plays Podrick, right?
Can't remember his full name, yeah. Something.
He has a really nice voice.
Beautiful voice.
Like, I did not see that coming. But that song, I know...
Jenny and the Old Stones.
That, like, listening to the lyrics, that's a big part of the show as well. Like, yeah. It's kind of cluing you in.
Yeah, I believe the first... What is it? Line or... couple lines are from A Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're in the books.
I knew that they were in the books.
Yeah, so... But that whole moment, all of them, is just... Oh, man. And that's where we find out that, you know, Tormund drinking Giant's milk.
Giant's milk. They throw a lot of those, like, catch-22 moments in there, don't they? They like to play the game. Like, hey, we're going to be all serious, but here's a really funny story about how this guy sucked on a giant's boob for...
3 months.
3 months because it thought it was his baby. Or its baby, or her
That's
baby.
That's how he's so strong.
That's why he's so strong. Yes.
And then, my individual favorite moment is seeing Brienne smile.
Yeah, that's the first time we see a genuine smile from her, too.
It's just so great. And then Tormund leading the charge. I'd knight you 10 times over if I was king.
That's because Tormund loves her and he doesn't care about gender norms or
I
stereotypes.
think there is something, because for so long everyone plays as a joke. He's just into her because she's a big woman and like knows how to fight, blah 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 blah. But people are like, when is the line where it's creepy? Because he's always staring at her, chewing meat in front of her, staring at her.
Yeah, that's fair. He does make it a little creepy.
And I don't think they play it creepy. I think they play it sincere. He sees this person. He doesn't understand why she can't be a knight. Just because she's a woman.
Because he sees her for
who she is.
Who she is and not by her gender.
Yeah. Not for what she is, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's very sweet. And then Jamie doing it. And it was just a great moment.
It is a really good moment. Like, that scene in general is really powerful.
What was your favorite moment of the episode?
I think when Arya sees the Hound.
And then Barrett comes in?
Yeah. And she sees these 2 people that are on her list to kill.
Were on her list.
Were past tense, sorry. Were on her list to kill. And she greets them like old friends is... I mean, she doesn't greet them like her superiors or her elders. She greets them like a couple of drinking buddies. Like how she makes that dig, don't forget I stole from you first.
Not to get creepy, but Arya knows it's potentially her last night in Westeros, right?
Yeah.
And she's looking to get some. Who was the first person she went looking for? That was Sandor Clegane. That's creepy. Is that the case? Probably not, but it's something to, my second favorite moment, though.
Which is?
Do you know what it is? Do you have a guess?
No, I couldn't tell you.
It's Jorah, my favorite character.
Oh, when he sees his cousin?
Yes. Captain Friendzone is my favorite character since episode 1 of the show I watched. And, man, do I love that guy. But the moment between him and Lyanna Mormont, who is now his cousin, I just assumed that was his niece. But I can't even understand these families half the time. And when Lyanna goes, I bid you good fortune, cousin. And it's just, she is who she is. She's not a little girl.
Nope.
She will not let anyone treat her like she's a little girl. And, oh man. And then you get the moment where Samwell gives Heartsbane to him. It's a very sweet moment between the two of them.
It is a very sweet moment, that is for sure.
Considering that Longclaw was, the Mormont's sword.
Mm-hmm.
And he would not accept it from Jon when Jon tried to offer it to him. And he accepts Heartsbane from Sam. It's very sweet.
It is really sweet. I think him accepting it is kind of like him, like...
It's him accepting his death sentence by taking it.
Yeah, that too.
Unfortunately. The problem with this episode, and not saying episode 2, but problem with episode 3 is we get to the point where after this episode we only have 3 more episodes. A lot of these characters don't mean anything anymore.
Right.
Their stories are done. And even if they're alive, there's no use for them narratively. Okay. Would be my assumption. Because now it's for the fight for the Iron Throne. Right. If we're just playing how this... We're just assuming that they win. Okay. Which I don't think that's an assumption on itself, but it is what it is. Characters like Jorah, like Theon, like Sandor Clegane, like Beric Dondarrion, and even with Theon and Jorah being more prominent characters throughout the series, their stories are done, they're told, there's nothing else for them. But Jorah getting Heartsbane, I don't know, maybe he could, take out Dany, because Dany being a little bitch, turning on Jon. He has to take out the woman he loves.
I wouldn't say, we don't know if she's turning on him. Like,
she's a little bitch.
She's upset.
Her face in that moment when Jon tells her
she's
was,
upset.
Oh my god, this guy's gonna take my throne. He didn't even once say that.
Yeah, he doesn't want it. He clearly does not want it.
He didn't want to be king in the north.
No, he does not want to be king in the north.
I'm not an Arya fan.
I'm a fan of her character. I'm not a fan of how they portrayed her storyline that much. Like, her character is important and it makes sense.
Her character's not important, though. No.
That's our other dog who has a squeaky toy, by the way, if you're wondering what that sound was.
She's oined like a pig. She's not the girl has no name and stuff, and then, because the problem with Arya, and even right now, is she's neither a regular person from Westeros nor a faceless man. I feel that she's finally getting back to being closer to herself, but she'll never get there because of all the stuff she's gone through, and then all the faceless men stuff. Do you think Jaqen H'ghar shows up next episode?
Oh, that would make my day. That really would. I think him showing up, like, maybe he's been around this whole time and we just don't know it.
He's really Gendry?
That would be terrible. That would actually be terrible. That would be very bad.
I love Gendry.
But do you think Arya training as a faceless girl this whole time? And do you think she would know if he was someone?
She notices other faceless men, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of throws out my theory, so never mind. I take it back.
Do you think Melisandre shows up next episode?
And does what? Calls upon the Lord of Light?
Well, definitely that. No, she was pissed off all those times, Battle of Blackwater, that she wasn't brought along. And she claims it's because her not being there, they didn't win. And she has the moment between her and Varys, I believe it was last season. Can't recall if I'm right. Yes, it should be last season. that the two of them are meant to die in Westeros. So I believe that she comes back in this episode.
This next episode, you mean?
Yes, Battle of Winterfell. And she'll play a key moment, whether or not she gets the power of like Thoros of Myr, and brings back someone from the dead using the Lord of Light. Or I don't know. I think there's something interesting brewing with her. Did you like that there was no Cersei in this episode?
I did. It was kind of a nice breather.
A breather after one episode?
She's a lot. I will say that. She's a lot. Like, I like her character. I do. But sometimes her character is so prominent and they make a point to kind of like shove her in your face. Like, this is Cersei! Watch out for her!
Yeah, 'cause she's really the villain.
Right.
She's always been the villain.
So what do you think that Bronn and Tyrion talked about then, though?
Bran
Bronn is the
Bronn of the Blackwater.
That's the, yeah.
Sir Bronn.
Sir Bronn.
What do I think they talked about?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a history.
You think it's more of a history rather than just him saying, like, how he became the Raven?
Yes. I think it was kind of a history lesson type thing.
Okay.
I don't think it was just the story of what it was. I don't think Bran is Bran anymore, and he makes a point to say that I'm not Brandon Stark.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard this theory because of Castro Talk, because he had basically the Three-Eye Raven download too fast because they got screwed, that it jumbled everything in his head. So he doesn't see full flashes of everything. And like how he only knew that Jon was born of Lyanna and Rhaegar, and not that they were actually married, and he was, he really is a Targaryen, not just a bastard.
Right, not just a
he didn't know that.
Targaryen bastard.
He needed Sam in the books to tell him that. And then he knew it. So I think that he and Tyrion talked about a lot of things.
So do you think Tyrion probably knows now about Jon too?
I definitely believe that, yes. Maybe not. Maybe it's not important that Bran told him. I don't know if they sat down there for 4 hours.
That's fair.
We don't know how time works in Game of Thrones anymore. Not that I care. It's the same night. But my assumption was it's at least an hour conversation. And what they talked about, they could have talked about what Bran sees in the future. Because I think he only knows what may happen. I think he's got a little bit of the Doctor Strange thing going on.
Okay.
Where he sees multiple things. Doesn't necessarily know which one it's going to be. Or maybe he sees the result.
He doesn't know how it's going to get there?
Yes. Certain things. That's just like, a headcanon type thing going on in my head.
Right.
That I'm making that assumption that Bran only can see certain things, not all the things. Because from what we've seen of the first incarnation of the Three-Eyed Raven and the second one with Max von Sydow, is he's a very intelligent person, and he seems like a normal human being other than that he knows everything. He doesn't seem like Brandon Stark, who,
kind of doesn't know how to talk to anyone anymore.
Yes. He's a freak. He's a freak in a wheelchair that somehow ends up everywhere, and no one's behind him pushing.
Pushing him!
And there's a lot of stairs in Winterfell.
Yeah, it's not like they made it handicap friendly.
And there's no way he pushed himself out at the Godswood where Jaime could have a conversation with him. That's snow and other garbage mud. He did not push himself.
Those are wooden tires. It's not like they're all-purpose weather tires ready for action.
Dany said she's going to break the wheel. Maybe she meant Bran's wheel.
so he can't get around everywhere so fast.
Yeah.
Granted, we also, like you said, we don't know how time works in Game of Thrones anymore. So maybe a lot of time passes for him to get to these places.
Very true. No, I think there's potential that Bran could die next episode because of how important he really is to the show too. Even though he's not my favorite character, and he's oftentimes on the lowest end of that spectrum, but he's very important to the story of Game of Thrones. Did you like the moment where Jon told Dany that he's Aegon Targaryen?
I hope she's not mad.
She clearly is. She backed away and said,
I
you have claim for the Iron Throne.
I don't think she's mad. I think she's scared. It was shock, and she was scared. And she was like, hold on. If he's telling me this, for her, in her mind, the reason that he is telling her is because he wants something. So he's telling her to be like, by the way, watch your back. That's how she's taking it.
The bitch walked into the crypts to find him in front of his mother.
She didn't know that.
Well, whatever. That's her fault. No, I'm not a big Dany fan, as you know how much I make comments about her during the show.
Because I love her. I even bought our little corgi, Molly, I bought her a Targaryen sweater. He wasn't happy about that, but he'll live with it. He'll get over it.
She couldn't even protect her dragons. No, Dany's problem is that she only worries about the throne, and that wasn't even her actual thing. When we met her in the beginning of the show, she cared nothing about the throne, right? That was all Viserys' deal.
Right.
Because as a male, he got the right. It wasn't until, later on that all of a sudden she believed that it's her birthright. It is, technically. And then actually, once we knew, it's Jon's. And everyone knew that it was Jon's because everyone knew the R plus L equals J thing for forever. And that was a book thing before it even became a show thing.
And for the people who didn't read books and only watched the show, we've known for a while. So
we've known for a season. No, 2 seasons, right? Can't remember. Yeah, season 6. We knew. We see the Tower of Joy thing, and when you see the Tower of Joy, you just assume. And then season 7, we find out for sure. So, but even still, it was a big important moment for her, not the audience.
Yeah.
But as an audience member, you saw her bitch and moan about it.
It's a big deal. She's scared she's going to lose everything she worked so hard for.
And in this man that she so loves, how does she not know that he doesn't want the throne? He even bent the knee to her.
Yeah, I guess.
And he was claimed king in the north.
Yeah, he was claimed king of the north. So why, and now that Sansa's made this comment, what about the north? We'll never bow to a northern, or we'll never bow to anyone else. What are you going to do about it?
Sansa's right.
Obviously, there's concerns.
Sansa's right. In that moment, I actually thought that Dany was going to ask Sansa to be her hand of the queen.
Oh, really?
I thought there was, with Jorah said that to her, I thought there was going to be a little bit of being an advisor type thing.
Huh.
Because how good Sansa is. And Sansa basically runs the Vale now.
Yeah. What happened to Robin?
Robin Arryn?
Yeah. Where's he?
Probably sucking on his mom's dead body.
Why would you say that? That's just dark.
Well, he was like an 11-year-old boy still drinking milk.
Yeah. That's fair. Wonder if he's grown to eat solid foods now.
Is Robin Arryn alive? I can't even remember anymore.
If he's still alive, who's at the Vale protecting him? As Lord of the Vale.
Well, I mean, he's always been technically Lord of the Vale.
Right.
Or Lord of the Eyrie.
Sorry. Whatever.
So I think Sansa has far more power than Dany does. Dany just has dragons. And has only 2 of them now.
Well, I mean, she also has her whole country waiting for her back, like Marine and everything.
Yeah, but she doesn't run them anymore.
Oh, that's fair.
She left them to run their own government, because that works well.
Also fair.
And Dario's still there. He's trying to help out with that whole government type deal. I hope he comes back. Sexy Dario. Not shitty Dario. The first one.
You mean Ajax?
Yeah, like the dish soap.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't recognize him, the guy that plays
Dario Naharis.
Wow, I can't talk. Yeah, what he said, right away at the beginning, before they replaced him, is Ajax from Deadpool. Fun fact, in case you didn't know.
Shitty Dario. And he was weirdly blonde, and then all of a sudden
he had dark hair.
And a sexy beard. And a much sexier man.
I think part of that was a good character choice to change because of the fact that, Targaryens are the white-haired blonde people, and that was just too similar, and we couldn't have that.
Well, and the people of Essos are the darker-skinned people, and having too many just generic white people.
Oh, yeah, that too.
In Essos, that being characters, or just people from Essos, it seems weird.
Oh.
So, there is that. There's just a better choice. But, back to season 8 on hand. It may have leapfrogged into a top 3 episode of mine. Certainly top 4.
What are your other top episodes?
Season 2, episode 9, Blackwater. For obvious reasons. It's just great character moments surrounding the battle. And then it's very much a Helm's Deep type battle sequence where people raiding the wall from Stannis' army, and then Tyrion running around, and then all of a sudden you get Tywin Lannister and all the army from Highgarden, and them saving it basically like Gandalf. Great stuff. And then, I just watched Watchers on the Wall last night. That episode's damn good. Season 4, episode 9. I wouldn't know. The problem is that I wouldn't normally have put that in my top 3. So it makes it a little weird. Hard Home is another episode that I just absolutely love. Second half of the episode taking place all at Hard Home, which is where you get the Come At Me Bro sequence. Which
is also where they probably got the chains for dragging the dragon out of the water.
I told you that.
Which is what you told me. Because I didn't know where they got the chains from. Like, how are these people, dead people, pulling this dragon out of the water, sunken underneath? Like, hello?
It's a port city. Being a port city, they gotta have all those chains around. I don't know how they have such long chains. But that's where my guess would. It's only logical. But the show's magic, so maybe he can just create chains. I don't know.
It could be part of his superpowers.
Yeah. And I think this newest episode leapfrogs into that third section. I also love Battle of Bastards, but Battle of Bastards is kind of like a cop-out episode answer.
Yeah.
Because it's just so great. Especially for the battle stuff. Emotionally, that's the reason why that episode is great. Because you have such hatred for Ramsay Bolton, and all the stuff he did to Sansa, to Jon, and then to Rickon, because can't run in a straight line, or zigzags, you can only run in straight lines. That the moment in Battle of Bastards is just so fulfilling. The entire battle is just fulfilling. So those 3, and then Watches on the Wall would be another one, especially after just watching it again. And then last night's 2 nights ago episode. I love it. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
So those would be my 5, I guess.
Yeah, you listed way more than 3.
I listed 4, and then the newest episode.
Right.
So 5. But there are so many I could list off. The trial of Tyrion Lannister.
That was a very powerful episode. Didn't we just watch that episode too?
Well, I just watched it.
I was there.
Oh, Good for you.
So we watched it.
The Mountain, the Viper.
That's an intense scene.
Oberyn dies. There's so many of them.
The whole show is good, so I mean, you can't really pick a bad one.
I don't want... It's hard to say I like Reigns of Castamere, but I like Reigns of Castamere. The show in and of itself is so essential to pop culture. It's in the moment, and we are in the moment people. And, you know, I just watched an episode, and all of a sudden it comes into my top 5. So we're very in the moment people, but I think Game of Thrones has earned that respect. All of the characters, especially. Because why would we watch if we didn't care? I mean, there are some people that are there for the battles and are pissed off these last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Have not had a battle sequence. Well, fuck you people, because I'd rather listen to 2 hours of talking, especially from my favorite characters like Tyrion, like Jorah, like Tormund, like Jaime. I mean, I basically just listed out half the cast, essentially. But we aren't going to get that anymore. And these characters have had such long journeys, and a lot of them haven't seen each other for so long that it's not fan service, it's character service. And when a show is character driven, you have to serve the characters. Because I don't think the show is spectacle driven. I think the show is character driven. Some people are there for the spectacle. I'm there for the characters.
I would agree. I am definitely there for the characters. I'm so, we've gotten to the point, obviously this show has been going on for a while now, that if you're not invested in at least one character on the show, what are you doing? Why are you watching? What is the point of you taking that hour or whatever or more out of your day to watch? What good is that to you?
I think your dog passed out.
I think so too. My direwolf.
Do you think we'll get more ghosts? Speaking of direwolves.
I hope so. I want to see that little feller again.
I don't even know if he can do anything against the dead people.
The dead people. That's fair. I mean,
he can push people away and,
they could give him dragon glass grills for his canines.
That would be ridiculous.
Hey, it's just an option.
Good thing you're not writing the show.
Yeah, I guess so.
Speaking of Ed, so that moment between him, John, and Sam, man, there's only 3 of them left. 3 people of the Night's Watch left. And that's it. They're all dead.
That's pretty sad.
There isn't, and realistically, if they win, there is no Night's Watch anymore. They don't need it.
There's no need. Yeah, there's no need for it anymore.
Predictions for Sunday.
Everyone dies.
Well, that's just a cop out.
Everyone dies.
Biggest character that will die.
Biggest character, Jaime Lannister.
I go back and forth on this. Because it's hard to label who's the biggest character or on the upper echelon anymore. I would agree. If Jaime dies, he's by far the largest character that dies. I think the largest one would be Theon. We met him in episode 1. He's been very important. But I think this is his moment for redemption.
So him sacrificing himself?
Yeah. I think he's the biggest character that dies.
Interesting.
Biggest surprise of next episode. Prediction.
Sansa dies.
Okay, so you're saying that Jaime Lannister dies, and that's the biggest character, but Sansa dies, and that's not the biggest character.
That's the biggest shocker if they do it, but I don't think they're gonna kill her.
How the hell? Biggest surprise? We have a 2-on-1 dragon battle fight.
I think that's just gonna happen. I don't think that's a surprise.
No, but I think in this sense that it's gonna be 1-on-1, and there's gonna be because Drogon is protecting Brandon Stark or Bran, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you see Rhaegal and Viserion shooting fire, blue on red, kind of like Harry Potter type thing going on again.
Yep.
More of these Harry Potter connections. And then all of a sudden, Rhaegal's about to die, and Drogon swoops in and fucking
You just demonetized the video.
You already did it first, so I can do it now. Like, just chomps at him. Takes him out in the neck. And I think he dies in the process. So Rhaegal's the only one that lives.
Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. So you think all 3 dragons are gone?
By the end of the show, yeah.
By the end of the show.
I think we'll have one on our way to King's Landing. And in the opening credits, the cool new opening credits, they always have, in the 2 episodes that we get to King's Landing, underneath they keep showing the little dragon crossbow thing that they built.
Oh, the crypt that they have?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you would make any complaint about talking about Game of Thrones.
Oh no, I talk about it all night, but I barely talked about this episode because I keep going all in circles.
It's because this is the first video we've done together.
Very true. Game of Thrones is the best though.
So does that mean we're gonna get more episodes like this?
I mean, if you make me dinner, yes.
Alright, looks like I just have to cook him dinner, guys.
Surprise-wise, there are theories out there that Nymeria and a pack of direwolves are going to show up in this episode.
That would be interesting.
And then Ghost joins them and they go and hunt, which that would be badass. Now, I would be all for that. What are all these products that you have so used? True.
Lots of products. I'll put them in the description so you guys know. I'm not going to list them all off because that's a lot. Actually, lies. It's not that much. Nothing more than normal. Although I did try using these water activated paints that I got. They were really cheap, just to try them for whatever reason, by Dr. Doo-Doo. They're water-based paints.
Doo-Doo.
Professional Body Art Face and Body Painting Kit. Yeah, they kind of suck. I'm not a fan.
That's why they're doo-doo.
That's why they're doo-doo.
And
not impressed.
Because she's on camera, I will not say that she's wasted money on this stuff. But I will say she spent our money on this stuff.
Yes, I have. And I'm not ashamed of it at all.
Unfortunately.
But fortunate for you guys.
No, they just came here to see the dog.
Yeah, you guys really just came to see the dog.
He's the prince who was promised.
Yes. So, this is the finished look. I'm probably going to throw on some jewelry and a wig for pictures, and I'll post them to my Instagram page. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked our conversations about Game of Thrones. If you have any of your own opinions or conspiracy theories or whatever, drop them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about them, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
What he said. Bye.